I just connected with her recently. Thank you so much for that introduction. I think this could be a really good partnership.
We're going live right now.
Okay, I hope it works. She's a good woman.
All right, we're live.
Are we good to start, or should we wait another minute or so?
No,
Go
go
ahead
for
and
it.
get it started.
All right, great. It's great to see everyone this morning. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Fairfax chapter. Please take a moment to check in. You haven't done so on our app, and this helps us to know that you're here and allow us to grow as a community. And also use the chat function to please introduce yourself. Next slide.
Oops. Hold on.
All right. So there are three key pillars that we believe in at 1 Million Cups. They're entrepreneurship, community, and education. And if you're all about these things, you're in the right place. Next slide. The mission of 1 Million Cups is pretty simple. It's come together as entrepreneurs and as a community to help each other grow and overcome business challenges. Next slide. Okay, the way we run our meeting is different than some of the other meetings that you may have attended, where we focus on presentation. It's not a pitch to sell or offer services. We focus on connections, not networking, and we're run by the volunteers in the community and for the community. Thank you. Next slide. All right, so our goal is to create a safe and supportive environment where everyone feels welcomed and different ideas are shared without fear of being shut down. And we're all volunteer-led community, and we need everyone's support. Whether you're an organizer or presenter or attendee, we're come together as a group, as a community. Next slide. Okay, so we are a Fairfax chapter of one of over 160 chapters all across the country that meet Wednesday mornings. And it's a weekly event that brings together entrepreneurs and business owners. And we talk about solving business challenge and over a cup of coffee. Our goal is to create a safe and supportive environment where everyone feels supportive and welcomed. And it's inclusive and diverse. And everyone has a voice. We encourage not one person to dominate the conversation, and that we're all about being respectful and considerate to one another. Next slide. Right, because we're a community of entrepreneurs and business owners, we would like to ask everyone to support. First, you can support by attending the meeting every week, which all of you are doing right now this morning, and I thank you for that. Second is to participate in the conversation. It's a latter segment of our meeting today, and provide feedback and have a productive meeting. And third, engage us online and share our content and meeting on your social media. That will help us to get the word out to everyone. And finally, invite friends and your colleagues to help grow the community. Next slide. All right, as I mentioned before, we're made up of volunteers and organizers to help run our weekly meeting smoothly and help to get the word out to the community. These individuals you see in front of you spend a few hours every week to help build this community. So if you can give them a support by providing a virtual collab, that will be appreciated. Next slide. All right, so at this time, I want to recognize our sponsors. We have two sponsors. Each week, we have a space sponsor and a coffee sponsor. Normally, when we meet in person, obviously, space is needed, and also we have a coffee sponsor to provide coffee. But even though we're meeting virtually, we still like to recognize our sponsors. First sponsor is Office Evolution. And if Sylvia is still here, if you can, okay, if you can say a little bit about Office Evolution, that would be great.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sylvia Ferguson, and I'm the Business Center Manager of Office Evolution here in Tysons. I'm so glad everyone is here today on this, even though we have a beautiful sunny day and still COVID. But anyway, thank you for being here. Here at Office Evolution, we provide beautiful private offices, amazing conference rooms in different sizes. We have virtual services such as a professional business address and phone service. So if you're a startup or you're interested in some office space, please feel free to reach out to me. I will put my information in the chat. And yeah, thank you so much for being here.
All right, thank you, Sylvia. And next is our coffee sponsor. Our coffee sponsor for the month is Extraordinary Solutions. Renetta, if you want to say a few words about your company.
Good morning, everyone. I am the founder of Extraordinary Solutions. Our mission is to help women entrepreneurs of the military community bridge the missing gaps in their businesses. In order for them to be successful, we focus on helping them strategically design and create processes that allow them to streamline their services in order to reach more customers. We are completely virtual or expanding into podcasting, and I thank everyone today for coming out.
All right, great, thank you, Renetta. All right, next slide. All right, so just let me, let's run through how we're going to run our virtual meeting and some ground rules. So first, I'd like to ask everyone to keep your microphone on mute during the presentation. And after the presentation, you'll have the opportunity to provide feedback based on the business challenge that Kevin would be proposing, and also ask questions. Our moderator for today is John Rudenberg, and he will help facilitate the discussion. And so without further ado, next slide. All right, so let me introduce you to Kevin Elwell from aHead. Kevin, please take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited about the opportunity here to put my business in front of all of these entrepreneurs and business leaders. So let me get right into it. My challenge is all about growth, and just what I'm trying to do is understand what are the best markets that I could partner with. Next slide, please. So a little bit about my business. I take headshots for businesses and individuals, and I try to make it as easy and affordable as I possibly can. The most profitable niche for me in this marketplace is to work with businesses to go in and take pictures of their executives or realtors or lawyers or employees, so I would take my studio into their place of business, set up in a conference room or something like that, and I would take a dozen or so headshots of their key people, and then of course I provide those results to them digitally. I've been doing this for about 10 years as a volunteer, and have worked with a few businesses, but what I'm trying to do is grow that. Next slide, please. So I've been doing it for about 10 years. I recently rebranded my business to focus solely on headshots, and try to improve my offering, as well as focus down on exactly what I want to do here with respect to headshots. I'm about my home studio. I operate a studio out of my home. It's 39 minutes west of downtown DC. So I'm basically serving the metropolitan DC market, Maryland, Virginia, and downtown. I have partnered with nonprofits like Career Confidence and churches to offer headshots to job seekers, as well as those that are unemployed. I do a lot of complementary work in that regard, especially for those that are unemployed. My goal is to make enough money to establish myself as a going concern and ultimately retire. I'm at the age where I could retire and would like to make enough money to establish myself in this new pursuit so that I can retire as an IT project manager. Next slide, please. So the markets that I currently serve, I do a lot with job seekers and other professionals. I get referrals from the organizations that I work with of people that are able to purchase my service. And I also get leads through LinkedIn Profinder and other persons. The target markets that I want to look at are law firms, technology concerns, realtors, and performing arts. So like, for instance, directors of plays and that sort of thing, people that need headshots. I have been honing my craft. I'm a part of a headshot community that is worldwide and led by one of the greatest headshot photographers in the world, Peter Hurley. So I'm expecting to get to the point where I can raise my prices enough to where my average sale is closer to $750 to $1,000. Currently, I make about half of that. So I think I'm getting to the point where my quality is up there. Next slide. So here's the competitive landscape. There's always somebody that will charge less. I think the average price for a headshot in Washington, D.C. Metro, according to my research, is right around $200. I think most of those people in the job search market are willing to spend around $300. So my market position is in the middle with that. And currently, you can spend as little as $275 to get a headshot with me, but I think most people average around $350. I'm providing a very value-centered experience because of the quality of my product, and I think that's what's differentiating in my offer. There's a high-end market for this. I have one of my colleagues downtown who his average sale is probably between $1,500 and $2,000, so he's doing very well in this marketplace. And of course, his quality is very comparable, or I should say, it's better than mine. But I think the average person doesn't always appreciate the difference between that and my offering. So I think I'm very competitive. So with respect to the business-to-business marketplace, a company on the average would spend about $1,100 for 5 individual headshots. If I bring my studio into their place of business and set up, that's about what I would charge for 5 individuals. And that would also include the retouching as well as the digital delivery. Next slide, please. So this is kind of my strategy for group offerings in terms of marketing myself. I want to establish myself as the guide, and this is a guide to solving their problems. Number 2, I'm presenting a very, very simple and process-oriented approach. So I establish myself as the guide by demonstrating both empathy and authority. Empathy, that I understand how hard it is to find the right person and how difficult it is to sometimes do business with that person. And I demonstrate authority by providing testimonials from businesses and other individuals that I have served. So the second step here is to present my solution. Yeah, there we go. Second step is to present my solution and how relatively easy it is. You schedule an appointment through my online system. I have a website, and you can match your calendar up with mine through that system. So it's fairly simple. And then when I show up and set up, I coach those individuals to get the right look and right expression from them. And then I use my expertise as a professional headshot photographer to help them with the selection process. So would take a number of pictures, and then they would use their preference and my expertise to make that selection. Next slide, please. So what are the best markets for me to partner with?
So, hey, Kevin, thank you very much. My name is John Rutenberg. I'm the moderator for the next section of this. And Kevin, in a moment, we're going to open it up to questions and suggestions. I ask everyone who poses a question or a suggestion, please be brief. Make your questions short. Kevin, keep your answers short. Even though it's likely you're going to want to give a long answer, you might even tell us that you're already doing something. My advice to make most of your answers, great idea, thanks so much. This is being recorded, so you're going to be able to get notes. You don't even have to take notes, but you're going to be able to listen and watch this meeting. And therefore, it's most important to hear the suggestions and questions, respond shortly. And with that, if our audience will either raise their physical hand or put a hand in, I open it up for questions, and it may be in the chat, so I'll be checking there as well. Would anyone like to start with a question right off the top? Any hands? I'm looking around, and I do see Melinda Sigel. You're up.
Got a couple of thoughts that I wanted to add. I really like your presentation and what you're doing. I spent a fair amount of time in photography in college and throughout. One of the markets that I thought you might want to go after are agencies, advertising agencies, PR agencies, event marketing agencies, the whole, because they need staff pictures for whenever they have new employees, but they also have clients that may have those needs, and they may be able to bring that in. Another market that I wrote down was outplacement and actually recruiters. I know you said that job seekers, if there are any recruiters that are doing outplacement, that's part of the package of what they put together. So you might be able to be their photographer. And then the last thing I wrote down was college seniors or folks that are just graduating from college and need a more professional picture to put on their LinkedIn page and other types of things. And you might be able to test that with some of the college campuses in the DMV area.
Excellent.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Good. So anyone else throwing up a hand at the moment, let me, excuse me, ask you a question. I see Phyllis and I see Rosemarie. I yield to Phyllis.
Thanks so much, Kevin. That was a great presentation. I really like your group offering. I think that having worked in a few different law firms, that would be very helpful for the law firm in terms of getting headshots. So one idea I had is for you to connect with website designers, because often small business, smaller law firms, they don't really know where to start. And so if you were to connect with website designers who are designing for the types of clients you're looking for, they can provide a referral to you. And then quickly, I'm just going to go through a horror story from a photographer's perspective. I don't want to shame my former employer too much, but they saw the need to do headshots for the whole firm, and they were cost conscious. So what they did is they purchased one of those I don't know what it's called, the big white umbrellas. And then they purchased a background, and then they just had our IT person take photos of us. But I'm not a photographer, but even I know, like, you shouldn't use a compact fluorescent bulb to illuminate people. Like, everyone turned out green. I went in for my session and the guy was like, okay, sit there. And then he just sort of was silent for a while. And he's like, okay, do you want to see some pictures? And so everyone's picture looked terrible. But you know what? They're still up on the website to this day. So I think that clearly this firm was not your ideal client because they don't see the value in a good headshot. So maybe if you could propose not only the people who are looking for a good headshot, but also provide some educational information to people who are looking for a headshot, may not see the value in having a professional headshot done. But if you can show, like, you know, here's what a snapshot on your iPhone looks like versus here's what I can do.
Great.
That's a great suggestion. And I part of my value proposition with businesses is that not only do I help them look better to their customers, but I also it kind of gives the employees a boost in morale as well to have a nice picture of themselves that they can use elsewhere.
Excellent. Rosemarie. And then Jen and Tony.
Thank you, John. Jen, I was going to defer to you, but you're up next. First of all, Kevin, excellent presentation. I love the headshots you used in your presentation. It was a great way to demonstrate the quality of your work. I have a slightly different suggestion that you might want to consider. You talked about, you know, getting in with partners to take an office kind of shot. I might recommend that you work with, you work in the context of a pop-up. So what you might want to do is connect with, for example, Sylvia or some other
Office, executive office.
thank you, office sharing and well, you know what I mean. So office evolution and the like, and have sort of like when we were kids, you know, there was a school photo day, people can be prepared. It provides you with a place where you can do a nice setup. You know, not to plug John specifically and Sylvia specifically, but they have some beautiful conference room available. And what you can do is you can, you know, plan it in advance, get people all signed up. And that's kind of a win-win. I'll also, because my friend Jennifer Rose is here as well, I would recommend that you want to reach out to chambers. You know, Central Fairfax is a great chamber, but other ones, and take that sort of pop-up to where the people are and kind of bring that to the fore. So I'll put it in the chat so you have it for later. Oh, there's one other idea I had. You said you're currently an IT project manager.
Yes, that's what I do full time.
Okay. Talk to the people you currently work with and see who needs updated headshots for maybe not work-related stuff, but other uses, if they're working on nonprofit boards or if they just want to update their LinkedIn profile. And then you might want to get with Jen Dalton, because she does a regular series of how to be a better professional on LinkedIn, and she might be a good partner to work with as well. Good luck.
Thank you.
Jen, what a great segue.
I know. Thank you, Rosemary. Kevin, great job. Amazing headshot photographers are worth their weight in gold. And the reason I say that is because it's about building that first impression of someone's personal brand and conveying who they are in a moment. I was trying to decipher if color is one of the things that you're catering to, but you know, when I work with photographers, it's usually for speakers, authors, executives, and I would recommend offering a package that isn't, you know, you might just have a headshot package, but you might also have a personal brand package where it's about what's the story they're trying to tell, how do you see them in action, and how can they convey convey their personal brand visually. Most companies do not want stock photos. Most customers don't like stock photos. So I love the idea of partnering with website design, but I think that's something that if you offer a small, medium, large package to corporations or executives, that's probably the spectrum I would go along. Individual, team, and then really portray the company because the company is just made up of people. So those
Great.
are my thoughts.
Great.
Thank
Thank you, Jen.
Tony Barnett.
First of all, Kevin, let me just tell you, the website is fantastic. Part of the reason why I was one of the first people to approve you for the presentation today was when I looked at your website, I was like, oh, great. It gets to the point. You can see the style of headshots he does, because this is to my comment. Everyone looks for a specific style. You know, it's not just they want a headshot. They want a specific style and a specific look. And yours is very clear in that type of look, and it's perfect for it. And my comment or my suggestion to you is this: have you tried or attempted to market to insurance companies and to real estate firms in the area? Here's why. They are always in transition, bringing new people in, new agents in, and those agents need headshots. And if you get relationships with some of the bigger firms, like you're in Centerville, so Long and Foster, if they're still using that building, is just down the street, maybe approaching them and being there available so that, for instance, you know, once a month or once a week, you go in and have a series of shots for them. Same with some of the insurance companies. If you look up, there are hundreds of insurance companies around the area, and they're always bringing in new people, new agents, and they need those headshots. And that could become a regular stream of business because your style fits in with the type of things they're doing, embedding into websites and embedding into, you know, putting onto business cards and stuff like that. Have you tried or started doing that at all?
I have not. I have not. In fact, one of the when I'm taking down all these ideas, and one of the tools that I'm using is called Prospect Ladder. It's a plugin for LinkedIn, and this would be great. So basically, what I can do is start looking for people on LinkedIn that are with insurance companies and try to capitalize on that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, no, it's because there's constant growth there. They're constantly bringing people in, and the new people need their headshots. And I can tell you right now, I see them all the time, especially on LinkedIn. You see that they're newly with a firm or whatever, and the shot looks like it's something that they, you know, had a friend take in their backyard or something like that with their phone. And it really impacts when they're starting off their professionalism. And a lot of these firms have the money and want their people to look good. And setting up a relationship is reaching out, saying, look, you know, I do headshots, and, you know, I see you've had a lot of growth, and I happen to notice on LinkedIn some of the people with your firm, especially newer ones, could really use a headshot. And just approach it from that manner. And yeah, once you have your foot in the door and they like you, bingo, they keep coming back to you, you know, on a regular basis to come in and do a session for their folks.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty bad headshots. You know, the boutonniere from the wedding, the creepy hand on the shoulder. You know, it's a wide variety of stuff out there. So
yeah, my headshot that we used for this, it took almost 40 minutes to get that one. I don't even want to tell you the other 100 that were worse.
So Tony, I think the fact that it only took 40 minutes to get your beautiful face perfect is amazing. How many cameras was it? I'm going to switch now to Eddie Lloyd, who has the next question.
Unmute. Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very good. I did put a note in the chat so you have exactly what I'm about to say to you. But I thought that maybe you would consider looking at two different levels of service. One, a low-cost level that would appeal to students. Students coming out of school certainly need a headshot. They don't necessarily know what a headshot is, but they certainly do need one when they get into the working world. And that might be a low-cost product that would really serve to expose you to students. And then a second level, which is your bread and butter, which might be aimed at businesses, real estate firms, other companies, just companies that have lots of people who are willing to drop the money to have good headshots for the people. And then lastly, I know someone mentioned this, and I guess I'm just reiterating, developing a relationship with headhunters, placement firms, where they could kick business to you that you can do quickly with a fast turnaround, that becomes a value add to the service that a headhunter might offer. Again, thank you for your presentation, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. One of the things that I have done in the recent past is I create an event and invite people to it. And what I do is a 15-minute session, and then I charge them $50 for that and $50 for the images. So you can get a headshot for $100, and I can still make a decent amount of money as long as I can get people to come to the event. But that might be something that I could cater to the student market. That's a great idea.
So I've heard some amazing ideas so far. So unfortunately, I'm going to ask some questions and probably lower the intellect. But a couple of things I'd love to hear about, and that beyond this meeting, maybe you can think about. In your business, the little I know about it, it's really important not to be a commodity, because there are a lot of people who will deliver headshots for a law firm. A lot of people out there who are doing that. So a suggestion I have is really thinking about how you differentiate yourself. And you spoke in item 3B in your second to last slide was the one place I saw the beginning of a differentiator where you're coaching people on site or before they're actually posing. And I think building that out a little bit more gets to what your target's problem is. And this might be the way you can differentiate yourself, which to me is first and foremost before you do anything to try and build your partnering, if you will, because no different than a dentist, a lot of people fear taking a picture. And there's tremendous anxiety. And if you can address how you make stress-free, you have to use better words than that, but eliminating the pain of your target. But it's not only the person who's the subject, it's the marketing director of the law firm who has to manage this whole process. And whether it's in the law firm or various other corporate environments where there are 50 plus employees, or maybe it's 25. I don't mean to be dogmatic, but not 3 people, although it can be also. But I love all of the ideas you've heard are very great places to find partners. And I think you have to focus in on the pain points of the person who's going to be in charge for the customer and the individual subjects, and speak to anxiety so that you're just not a commodity, another headshot guy. And again, 3B on that second to last slide was where you speak to it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks,
Other
John.
questions? Sure. Other questions?
I have one.
Yes, Belinda.
I was thinking about promotionally what you can do. And your low-hanging fruit are your clients that have had these great headshots. Twofold. One, a year later, they may want a new headshot or they may want a sequence of headshots that they can change out so that you don't have the same picture always there when you're building your branding. And then the other piece is their friends and family. And business associates. Maybe you can put some kind of ambassador program together or an offer. Thank you so much for, and I assume you have a letter that goes out. Thank you for coming to me for your headshot. Hopefully you're getting lots of referrals as well. And maybe that's when you can say that you've got an ambassador program if they know anybody that they'd like to refer to you. You could come up with like a $25 gift card or something, or some way that might be appropriate to thank them. Maybe when they refer a certain number of people, they get a free headshot. I just thought I'd throw out some promotional thoughts
Oh, that's a
because
great idea.
they really are your easiest people to go back to. They're happy. They're your advertising and your marketing and your PR. They really can talk about their wonderful headshots. It
Yeah.
reminds me of when Bose introduced their headphones, and when they first did, they had a little business card. Maybe you can give them a little business card to hand out to their friends with your the shots in case they know anybody.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. I do have a referral program. I send a $25 Amazon gift card to those that refer me. So
That's
works.
great. So advertise it, say thank you, and maybe the folks that are giving you a lot of referrals, make them ambassadors.
So Kevin, you'll have a chance to save the chat file also. Many of these comments are not only fabulous, but are all documented in here. And for one, I want to not only congratulate you on presenting, but that you have a number of initiatives where you're putting together your own events, if you will, where you're reaching out to people. And you want to tell us a little more about your achievements in LinkedIn and what you're doing, because you can, in fact, if I understand LinkedIn correctly, be able to target whether it's marketing directors or the key person in a company within a radius of where you are that would be likely candidates. Am I correct in LinkedIn?
Yeah, so it's an interesting, I got turned on to this prospect ladder tool by one of my customers who also is in the job seeker market. He's a resume writer, and his business, he's looking for people on LinkedIn that need help with that. So he fixed me up with Prospect Ladder, and it's a fascinating tool. In essence, what you do is you go onto LinkedIn, you create a search. For instance, I would search for those persons who are seeking employment, and it might identify my second degree connections seeking employment in Virginia, right? So likely prospect, and that would yield, I don't know, 500 people or something. You narrow down the search to get it to something reasonable. Then you take that search and you import it into this automation tool. And what it essentially does is it invites those people to connect with you. And then you can then follow up with kind of a drip marketing style campaign that further illuminates what your offering is all about. And I just started using it, so I built up quite a few connections already, but I haven't gotten any business out of it yet. But that might have to do with the, I'm not that familiar with the tool yet, and I need to hone my marketing pitch a little bit better. But it appears to be a very effective way of connecting with people on LinkedIn, as well as trying to start the dialogue with potential customers. I'm probably going to use it with marketing directors, marketing communications people. Right. Try to get some sort of leverage with that community, and that's particularly an effective tool for me in my current situation, since I'm still working full time.
So that's a great explanation, helpful to everyone. Wanted to return to something that you said earlier, and then I'm going to turn it over to John Foster in a minute. But you mentioned making money, and I wrote down making money versus promoting your quality and reputation. So as valuable as you are on an hourly rate, your cheap marketing dollars also. So if you spent a day, someone mentioned perhaps colleagues in your own where you work. If you did a thing for free for a day and gave 8 colleagues who you like, or maybe you don't have to like them all, so nobody can accuse you of being biased. Take the 8 people you dislike the most and do a great photo shot for free. That's an inexpensive, that's chump change, as valuable as you are. If those are 5 people who are really quality people who say to 2 people, wow, Kevin Elwell did headshots for me and they're amazing.
Yeah,
Just throw
good.
it out there. It's
Yeah,
not always to make the daily rate.
Yeah, I have lots of opportunities for people to get a free headshot. That's, that's easy.
But target them, make them the valuable, the people who are going to be referrers.
Right. What I'm one of the things that I'm doing is trying to give free headshots to those people that are influencers. People that in law firms that might be able to help me get law firm customers, or coaches or business coaches, or recruiters, or anybody that can point me to other markets.
Sure. Excellent. John Foster, and then I saw Eddie Lloyd had his hand up, I think, hoping. Mute, man. John Foster, you're on mute still.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, John. I still can't figure out the technology. Hey, thank you. I wanted to just acknowledge Kevin's work at Career Network Ministry and the great work he's done there. And Kevin, I don't know how many years it's been, but he does an awesome job. He's done an awesome job, and a number of the headshots that you see are, people from Career Network Ministry. One of the things, Kevin, I saw on your website, the line of a person's face is their story. I think you could take that and turn that into a marketing campaign. Right now there's a lot of talk and buzz about, storytelling. And so I think you could take that potentially as a way to, expand what it is you're doing, because certainly behind every one of these faces is a story. And what you're capturing is, that person's story. So just as an idea to, take that, because you have it, it's on your website. I'm just thinking that you could expand on that.
Great point.
Great idea.
Jen Dalton.
One of the things I would recommend, you've got some good marketing campaign opportunities coming up. One is just thinking about doing a sort of get back to work campaign from everybody's going to be going to hair salons, getting haircuts. I would work with the higher end salons and see if you can do a discount program with them, or just, for their clients. I would just raise your prices before you give a discount on them. The other thing I would think about is, you've got graduation coming up. So doing a graduation gift as an idea, where somebody could give a family member who's graduating the gift of getting a headshot, because they can be a little bit too expensive. That can be a great gift for someone to give to their kid or grandkid or whatnot. So just something to think about there. I haven't looked at your proposals. I do like your website. Can you talk a little bit about how you want to be known as a photographer? John brought up some great points. I have several photographers I work with. Some are great with people who are stressed and don't like getting their picture taken. Others are not, right? Every photographer has sort of a thing or a niche or a approach with clients that they're really good at. If you could add a little more context there, that would be helpful too.
Yeah, sure. I wish I had a nickel for every time somebody told me they hated getting their picture taken, because I wouldn't need to work anymore. There's something interesting about the human psyche, that we hate listening to recordings of ourselves and seeing pictures of ourselves. It's rather interesting. There aren't that many people that really like looking at themselves. In fact, there are many movie stars out there that won't watch their own movie just because they don't like it. I typically try to work with these people and try to get them out of their head, because what happens, they stand in front of my lens and they freak out. You know, they look at the lens and they immediately get stiff. So what I try to do in the context of working with them is to get them to forget that they're standing in front of the camera and just talk to me. And, you know, sometimes I get them to focus on what makes them laugh. Like, for instance, if they have a kid or a dog, you know, what about your child makes you laugh? And, you know, they start telling me stories about their kid. And the next thing you know, I'm snapping away and I'm getting the real deal. You know, I want authentic expressions, right? I don't want forced smiles, because, you know, you see too many images out there that just look absolutely manufactured. They're so stiff, and, you know, it's not an easy thing to do for somebody who has that kind of resistance, but I've been able to do it. So
you have to learn how to demonstrate that without saying it, because nobody wants to hear you say it. But if you tell a story about how that kid was amazing, or how that man or woman was so chill in the photos. Hey, I was just scanning the chat, and I'd like to ask Jennifer Rose maybe to repeat and comment about some of the things she wrote down that could be really helpful. And I apologize if I missed you waving a hand, or, but you're on.
Worries, John. I've been totally distracted since the beginning of this because I cut all of my hair off a year and a half ago, and I need a new headshot. I put highlights in my hair back in January, and now I really need a new headshot. So for sure, working with the salons is an excellent idea. Every time somebody asks me for a headshot, I'm like, oh, I need a new headshot. I've got to do this. But I put in the chat some other ideas. Connecting with young professionals groups would be a great thing for you to do. There are a gazillion of them in Northern Virginia. You can find them everywhere. I mean, the Chamber has a young professionals group on Meetup. We have over 500 people in that group. And that's just one of probably hundreds, maybe even thousands in the region. And I think somebody else had mentioned women's groups as well. You know, a lot of ladies, and I know one, and I kind of give her a hard time. Almost every time I see her, and I see her often, she has a different hairstyle, hair color. It's straight, it's curly, it's blonde, it's dark. Women like to change their look around. So connecting with some of the women's groups would be a great source for you. I love that you work with nonprofits. My heart is in the nonprofit world. Before I came to Chamber Life, I worked with several nonprofits. So for sure, keep that up, and then remind the nonprofit staff to, you know, plug you with their board members, because a lot of their board members are professionals. They may be lawyers, accountants, in insurance, and cover a wide variety of things. And of course, you must always leverage your local Chamber of Commerce. I am just up the road from you, but there are about 24 chambers in Northern Virginia, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you to help you understand the lay of the chamber land, because we're all a little bit different, and there may be some that are better fit for you, but I'm pretty sure that I'm a really good fit.
yeah, I definitely would love to talk to you along those lines. Yeah, I'd also like to identify some of those young professional groups too. That sounds like a great idea. You know, if I could couple my 15-minute headshot, you know, do an event with a young professionals group, you know, that'd be a great way to get in.
So Kevin, you're going to get a copy of the recording of this, and there were really a lot of amazing ideas. It's a lot easier to be, you know, one of the audience participants and listen to everyone while you're got to hear everything. And so when you go back, hopefully you're going to pick 3 or 4 things that you can do, because you can't do everything, but you're going to pick 3 or 4 or whatever. And in 60 to 90 days, we're going to ask you to come back and give us an update. So you have to immediately get cracking on this. In fact, everybody in the audience wants to know why you haven't achieved 3 or 4 things that were mentioned already today. You're kind of slow on the uptake, but in reality, there were amazing ideas for you to grab a couple. And I know that Ronetta will be in touch so that we schedule with you for the future. but we all will give you a real round of applause. And thank you so much for being our leader today. I know that Donnell Johns has been burning all morning to ask you a question. I see Rick Vosberg's hand just went up applauding also, in case you can't see that. But Donnell, are you there?
Actually, I'm going to jump in with the question. And the question today that we would like to ask you, great presentation, by the way, is what can 1 Million Cups do? What can we do for you?
Well, obviously, I would love to have you refer me to your business, or I would love to take your headshot. The other thing that you've been so kind about is just giving me great ideas, because it's every entrepreneur's challenge to come up with how do I sell this thing, and I think I've got a good product, but and I think that's been my biggest frustration with my business is getting people in front of my camera. Making money out of this thing involves getting people in front of my camera, and it's not hard to find people that are desperate for a new picture, but it's harder to find people that are willing to pay. So thank you.
Okay. John, are you
All right.
Yep, you're still here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right
Okay,
next to me.
perfect.
Sorry.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for another highly productive and stimulating discussion this morning. I really appreciate everyone providing Kevin with a number of awesome feedback. Next week we have a presentation from Milestonia presenting, and they're a gamified goal management software platform. And I look forward to seeing everyone there next week. All right, next slide. All right, so these are scheduled lineup of presenters coming up next couple of months. As you'll see, we have a number of open spots as well. And so if you know someone, or if your business, or someone that can benefit from presenting and get a lot of good feedback on their business challenge, please let one of us know, one of our organizers know, or you can go to 1MillionCups Fairfax website and apply. All right, next slide. All right, these are some of the upcoming events that that could be beneficial for all of you. Is Russ still here to kind of walk us through some of the events that are happening this week or next?
Thanks, John. Yeah, later on this afternoon is the Fairfax County Workshop. If you have a local business, learning more about working with the county and the area is great. Whether you have a CPA, you're a photographer, you're a graphic designer, you offer any service, not even just merchandise, but services. The county and the government is always looking for needing help. So these workshops are a good way to get an added benefit of working with the county and how to get those orders. And then tomorrow with SBDC, small business in the area, is a two-part workshop. One starts at 10, and then the second one starts at 1, and it's starting your business and creating a marketing pitch. The SBDC do a great job putting these events together for small businesses, and both of those events are really good. And then also later on tomorrow is Shape of the Region Conference, co-creating the new Northern Virginia. It's a good conference to get the input of what's going on in the area. There's other events that people may have. I'm opening the floor to let other people discuss their events as well.
Right. Does anyone have other events that they'll like to share with the group?
I would love to.
Okay, Jennifer.
I know Russ does a great job of keeping you guys, in touch with the chamber. But next week on Tuesday, the 16th at 2 o'clock, we have a great webinar on cultivating empathy that Tasha Troy is leading. If you've never seen Tasha speak, she's amazing. She does a lot of great communication workshops. Also next week, we've got a Nextco B2B speed networking on the 16th at 4 p.m. And then on Wednesday, the 17th, we have our Young Professionals monthly meeting, and our program will be on negotiation. So got some good stuff coming up. If anyone's interested in chamber life, I have a chamber orientation on Friday, March the 19th at 10 a.m., where you can learn all about why you should be a part of your local chamber of commerce.
All right, great. Thank you, Jennifer. Anyone else? John, you have your hands up. John Foster.
Oh, that was leftover.
Okay.
And I will say, hey, John, why, since I have my hand raised real quick, two things for anybody that knows anybody that's looking for work or looking for help to find work. Career Network Ministry. We're on meetup.com, and we run at least a dozen different workshops every week. So, you know, feel free to sign up or refer people to Career Network Ministry.
Great. Fantastic. All right. Last chance for anyone else like to share any events that are coming up?
Yeah, well, maybe not an event, but a freebie. If I have a one-page PDF document that gives you some tips on how to look better on Zoom. So if you're at all interested in that, send me an email message and I'll send you the document.
All right, great. I think you have your email contact information on the chat area. So if anyone's interested, feel free to scroll up and look for Kevin's contact information. We want to thank you again, everyone, for participating in today's awesome meeting. As you know, entrepreneurship is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. And so as you know, during that journey, you're going to face many challenges that you need to overcome. And so 1 Million Cups is really to come together as a fellow entrepreneurs to help each other overcome those challenges. And I hope today's meeting was productive for you as it has been for me. And I hope you can join us next week. Next slide. Is that the last slide? All right. Well, that concludes our meeting today. Oh, next slide. Yeah, so this is just a slide about Kaufman Foundation. They're very much proponent of entrepreneurship. So if you want to learn more about Kaufman Foundation, go ahead and check them out. That concludes our meeting. Few minutes left, but you're welcome to stick around and connect. Otherwise, thank you again.
Thank you, John.
Thanks,
Okay. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Great presentation, Kevin.
All
I
right.
like your photos.
Thank you.
When I come out of hiding, I'm probably gonna schedule some time.
Okay, great.
Actually,
I
I'm
look
gonna
forward to
need
it.
it soon with all this gray hair.
Thank you.
Kevin, I feel like I maybe steered you wrong, so I want to apologize. I appreciate you taking notes during from our conversation last week and adding the acting component. And while the acting component is a huge market, after listening to everyone today, I really feel like it's too much to focus on all that, right? Like it's a very different market.
Hey guys, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt, Marnie, but just so folks know, we still are live on Facebook. So
Okay.
Donnell, if you're there, if you can turn off the live on Facebook. So just for folks who are staying around, share ideas, but just know it's live on Facebook.
Thank you. I won't curse, I promise. So, so I don't know, just maybe I don't know if you're planning on using this presentation again, Kevin, but I think that the business world is such a large focus and you got so many great ideas within that world that expanding it beyond that to the arts world may not actually be in your benefit.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's probably wise.
Kevin, I had a quick question for you. Are you working for a specific company or are you doing a project by project consulting? Right.
No, I work for a company, a small, very small boutique company that is in support of the National Reconnaissance Office. So I'm actually a cleared professional.
Gotcha. The reason I bring it up is I was thinking that if you let folks know that this is what you do when you're not doing that work, if you're working at a small boutique, maybe it's the folks that you interact with when you're out at the end of your project, when you're out in the field. Well, out in the field. I'm not sure how you're working IT project management at the moment, given the lockdown. But you know, you're interacting with professionals every day. Whether or not they are looking to make a job change is immaterial. What's material is that they are thinking about their professional presentation to the world, and they already know you and trust you. What they don't know about you is that you take these beautiful pictures of people, these authentic, beautiful pictures, and letting them know, even if it's not something they would want to do immediately, they might want to be able to share this knowledge with other people. So, you know, people who know you're already are your best reference and referral sources and best partners. And then the other thing is if you